Honestly, what I think Appear does is they welcome new people into the space, make them feel comfortable as possible for the first time, enforce the rules, be a role model to everybody in the space. I think that's about it.
An identity peer pretty much does what Melanie and Charity does at a lower level. Like we watch over the peer. We don't watch over the peers. We watch over the youth, and we kind of plan the parties, and we go through a lot of training to educate us through safer sex and all that other fun stuff that identity teaches you through Beyond the Rainbow Walls. You do two Beyond the Rainbow Walls throughout the year of your peership, and that's pretty much it. Like you're pretty much one of the youth, but behind the scenes, I guess.
An identity peer organizes events, and they just make sure that everybody is following the rules of identity and interacts with people and are here for the youth if they need any advice or someone to talk to.
An identity peer does things such as organize around the space, plan activities, and essentially is an ear for someone when they are in need of help.
An identity peer does a lot, contrary to beliefs. I feel like they do a lot of like socializing with the youth. They do a lot of emotional / social bonding with the youth and the staff. I feel like that's what also helps build the peers as a peer. It's that bonding and that connection with both youth and staff.
An identity peer to me is essentially someone who sets the example in the space and always conducts themselves with the goal that if people look to you, it's like, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, that's how I'm supposed to be treating the space, that's how I'm supposed to be treating others while I am here.
Being an identity peer just pretty much means you're a youth. And it also means like you are part of something bigger. An identity, like I said, you pretty much lead identity. Without you, Melanie and Charity would have no idea what to do.
To me, a peer means somebody that should be a role model, for one thing. Be able to speak their mind without being rude about it or intolerant or I really don't know, just to be in this space to make sure everything goes okay.
An identity peer means to be responsible and know how to work with people and just if you're able to like come out and like tell someone that they're doing something wrong so they can learn for the next time.
It means being an example for people coming in. It means being an example for when you're outside of identity too. It basically, being a peer kind of gives you that stamp of you're the example, you're what people should look up to, and you should keep that in mind whenever you are in or outside of identity.
I think my favorite thing was probably organizing events because I could put my own like creativity and ideas into it. Also, during supervisions, you discuss things that you would want to see in like future events at Identity or just in general in the space. And I put in my insight, and that changes a lot.
My favorite part was actually the learning things, like the whole LGBTQ 101
the Safer Extravaganza, all those like workshops type of things. Those were my favorite. That's just because I like learning information. Um, yeah, and doing them was fun too.
My favorite thing about being a peer was actually organization. Because of the amount of people that come into the space, it often gets unorganized. And me being like a clean freak, I was always the one to like go around and like randomly just fix stuff. And it might sound boring, but that's one of the things that I actually really like doing.
My favorite thing would be probably the interactions between people that I have while I'm in the space.
Honestly, I think my favorite part was planning and doing the Beyond the Rainbow Walls because I really like talking and getting to know the youth better. Before being a peer, I was definitely a lot more childish. Like I would say a bunch of mean things to people on the internet, and I would kind of plot revenge. But growing as a peer, I realized that that's not really what life is about. You should try to bring each other together rather than set each other apart.
Being a peer helped me gain confidence talking to people and going up to different people that I don't usually have conversations with, and just being more open to having someone discuss something with me even if I'm not prepared for it.
It helped me think more seriously about my image, and it made me think more of where can my mind go and what can I do to help people.
Being a peer gave me not only like letters of recommendation for future jobs, but a lot of skills were worked on in being a peer. A lot of the things I do here will apply later in life for me because of the career path that I want to pursue. It's a great starter job for people that have never really had a job before. For me, it was like my second job. With my first interview was actually with identity. So, yeah.
Being a peer helped me be very open. I was like a very shy person, like especially in high school. And me being in a spot where I had to like force myself to be open and talk to people, it really helped my like communication skills, my interview skills, just anything having to deal with being social.
You should apply to be a peer not only because you get paid for it, that's always a good thing, but also because they teach you a lot of things you're going to need in the future. Like you learn cooperativeness. You you learn how to really like apply yourself on a larger scale.
I think people should want to apply to be a peer because it's rewarding. You learn a lot. The people here aren't really like judgmental about anything. Even like when I had my Beyond the Rainbow Wall, technology was not on my side, but everybody in the audience was really respectful and stuff like that.
Someone should apply to be a peer if they are sociable and they really think that they could be a good example for the youth and help out and try and make identity a better and safer place.
If someone is looking forward to being in a leadership-esque role, then I think this is definitely a first step that you can take.
If you are looking for a great learning experience, and if you're looking for a way to teach people and teach yourself at the same time, being a peer is like the perfect job for that.
I think certain qualities that Melanie and Charity look at when you're in the space go into play when they're deciding who they want to be the next peer. They also want to make sure that the person that they hire is going to be working well with the peers that are already here. So,
You should definitely be yourself, because Melanie and Charity really see through people who aren't being who they are, and you get chosen because you're a good person, and you get chosen because you seem to really care about identity. If you were one of those people who just like hung out outside and left your garbage around, you're less likely to become a peer because you showed that you don't care about the space as much as you should as a peer.
I would say this is like for any application, but just be yourself and don't try and force a side of you out that doesn't really exist, I guess, because if you put that on an application and then people see that you aren't actually what you wrote down, it's kind of like they hired you for what you wrote down. So basically just write what you like really feel, and like don't try and like say something that you wouldn't actually mean.
Be you. Be completely you. Don't set a facade, just like any job. Don't set a facade. Be you, and be aware of be aware of just be aware.
The advice that I would give to someone applying to be a peer is just be yourself. And in my personal experience, if you can make them laugh, then you have that right spirit. If you're someone who's very approachable, I say be someone that's very approachable.